A very good morning to all my dear students. Hope you all are fine. Today I am going to teach you the poem Milk for the Cat. Please open page 126 in your book. Milk for the Cat. It's a poem based on animals and plants. So with this poem we will come to know about which type of activities do these animals perform, like pet animals. Most of you must be having pet animals in your house like dog, cat, and dog is a very common one. Some of them keep the birds also like parrot and sparrows. So this is about the cat. And many poets, many writers have written different things about cats. Cats are things of attraction for the writers because these cats are such a wonderful creature, and we say cat walk for the beautiful ladies, and then raining cats and dogs, say raining cats and dogs. So this cat has got a good attraction, and these cats are very attractive creatures. And then this T.S. Eliot has written Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats. There also the entire book is based on cats, and there are so many poems based on cats. And then there are certain phrases also like to let the cat out of the bag. So this means to reveal a secret. And then there is one more, this one, when the cat is away the mice will play. So that means when the controlling authority is not there, others will make fun and they will enjoy. So there has to be one controlling part. There has to be one leader, and leader is like the cat. So when the cat is away, the mice will play. Others will take the benefit when the leader is not there, leader of the group. Okay. So let us read the poem Milk for the Cat. It is written by Harold Monroe. First of all, before proceeding further, I would like to read about the author. Harold Monroe, 1879 to 1932, was an English poet born in Brussels to Scottish parents. He was the proprietor of the Poetry Bookshop in London. The bookshop helped many poets bring their work before the public and was also an important meeting place for poets like T.S. Eliot. Monroe operated a press which published many books, including his own collections like Children of Love 1915 and Strange Meetings 1917, Real Property 1922 and The Earth for Sale 1928. Now I would like to read the poem. You also read in your mind side by side, and after that you can practice loud reading at your home. When the tea is brought at 5 o'clock and all the neat curtains are drawn with care, the little black cat with bright green eyes is suddenly purring there. At first she pretends, having nothing to do. She has come in merely to blink bright the grate. I have already drawn the grate here. As you can see, this is the grate. Grate is the metal bar which is at the fireplace. But though tea may be late or milk may be sour, she is never late. And presently her agate eyes. Agate is a stone. As you can see here, I have tried to draw, although my drawing is not so good, but I have tried to draw. So these are agate eyes. Agate is a quartz stone which has got a good shine in it. So here her eyes are described as agate eyes, and presently her agate eyes take a soft, large, milky haze, and an independent, casual glance becomes a stiff, hard gaze. Then she stamps her claws or lifts her ears or twists her tail and begins to stir, till suddenly all her lithe body becomes one breathing, trembling purr. Lithe body, it's a graceful, supple body. Now that here it is written that she stamps her claws or lifts her ears or twists her tail and begins to stir, move, till suddenly all her lithe body becomes one breathing, trembling purr. So she wants milk, and that is why she is making that purring noise. So the movement of the body is described in these lines. The children eat and wriggle and laugh. The two old ladies stroke their silk, but the cat is grown small and thin with desire, transformed to a creeping lust for milk. The white saucer, like some full moon, descends at last from the clouds of the table above. She sighs and dreams and thrills and glows, transfigured with love. She nuzzles over the shining rim, buries her chin in the creamy sea. Her tail hangs loose, each drowsy paw is doubled under each bending knee. A long, dim ecstasy holds her life, her world is an infinite, shapeless white. Till her tongue has curled the last holy drop, then she sinks back into the night, draws and dips her body to heat. Her sleepy nerves in the great armchair lies defeated and buried deep. 3 or 4 hours, she lies unconscious there. I think you must have understood some of the things that it is describing the cat, and at 5 o'clock the cat comes, when the tree is brought at 5 o'clock, the cat comes. The curtains are drawn with care. The curtains are, the adjective which is used for curtains is neat, and the curtains are drawn with care. And the little black cat, the cat is described as little and black. These are the adjectives used for cat. With bright green eyes, and the eyes are described as bright and green. The adjective which is used for eyes is bright and green, is suddenly purring there. At first she pretends having nothing to do. In the beginning she shows that she has not got anything to do. She has come in merely to blink by the grate, and it seems that because she wants milk, and she is a cunning one, she is a cunning cat, she wants milk, but she doesn't want to show that she wants milk, she is in need of something. So she will come as if she is an innocent one. She pretends that she has not got anything to do, and then she has come in merely to blink by the grate. She wants to show that she has come to blink, sit here and blink and watch everything. But though tea may be late or the milk may be sour, she is never late. This is a quality. This is a quality that she is never late. She is always punctual. And presently her agate eyes take a soft, large, milky haze. Agate eyes, I have already told you, agate is a type of stone, quartz stone. So there is a shine in her eyes. So her agate eyes take a soft, large, milky haze, and then the eyes is converted into take a soft, large, milky haze. Then for the milk, that desire is there, and her independent casual becomes a stiff, hard gaze, and then there is a change in the look. When she sees that the milk is there, so there is a change in the look. So that milky haze is there, and then stiff, hard gaze is there. Then she stamps her claws or lifts her ears or twists her tail and begins to stir, till suddenly all her little body becomes one breathing, trembling purr, and then she purrs. She makes that angry sound, purring sound. The children eat and wriggle and laugh. The two ladies, now the members of the house are described that the children are there. They are also eating and wriggling. Wriggling means twisting and turning on their body. So they are also laughing and twisting and turning their body. They are eating. The two old ladies stroke their silk. But the cat has grown small and thin with desire, transformed into a creeping lust for milk. The cat is grown thin and small with desire. She can change. You must have seen that the cats have got the ability to become thin also, because when there is a small corner, they can sit, they can hide themselves. They are such a cunning person, and their body is so flexible also that they can go anywhere. If they get a very small place, then they can go there, and when somebody watches them, they can hide themselves. They can jump even from 1 or 2 floors, and they will not get hurt. Their body is such a supple type of body. So body of the cat has grown small and thin with desire, transformed to a creeping lust for milk, and then she has got the creeping lust. Lust means desire for milk, and then the white saucer, like some full moon, descends at last from the clouds of the table above. Now the white saucer is coming, and here it is describing as like some full moon descends. So there is a comparison here, and I have already told you that when this comparison is there, two unlike things are compared that to seem to be likely like each other. So that is simile. So this is a comparison that the white saucer is like some full moon descending. When the full moon descends, at that time, that suppose this is a full moon, and then the descending is there. So in the same way, that saucer is there. The saucer, like some full moon, descends at last from the clouds of table above. And it seems that the table is like cloud and the saucer is like cloud. The table is like cloud and you can imagine that it's like a cloud and the saucer is like a moon. She sighs and dreams and thrills and glows, transfigured with love. Her appearance changes. Now she is full of love. She nestles over the shining rim, buries her chin in the creamy sea. Her tail hangs loose. Each drowsy paw is doubled under each bending knee. Now she nestles her over the shining rim. The shining rim is the top part. The top part of that. This is the rim. And this is shining also. So in essence, over the shining rim, she buries her chin in the creamy sea. And creamy sea, milk is here described as creamy sea. Milk is there in this. It is described as creamy sea. Her tail hangs loose. Each drowsy paw is doubled under each bending knee. And the tail is hung loose because she has to put her mouth there and she has to drink the milk. So her tail hangs loose. Each drowsy paw is described as drowsy and it is doubled under each bending knee. This is the movement which is showing that how she is drinking the milk. A long dim ecstasy holds her life. Now she is getting extreme happiness or joy. Ecstasy means extreme happiness or joy. Now she has got that extreme happiness because she has got the milk. Her world is an infinite shapeless white. Now after drinking milk, she has got that shapeless white feeling in her. So her world is now confined to that infinite shapeless white till her tongue has curled the last holy drop. Now the tongue has curled. See when she has to drink milk like this. So tongue is curled. So till her tongue has curled the last holy drop. The last drop is shrunk by her curl of the tongue. And then she sinks back into the night. Sinks back into the night means she is drowsy. Now she wants to sleep. Draws and dips her body to heap her sleepy nerves in the great armchair. And now she draws and dips her body to and collects at one place as if heap is there. She can collect at one place as if heap is there and her sleepy nerves in the great armchair. And her nerves have become sleepy and she sits on the armchair. She lies down as in the form of a heap as if some collection is there. Then she lies defeated and buried deep as if she is lying defeated and she is buried deep 3 or 4 hours unconscious there. So this is the way how she sleeps. I hope you have understood this poem. You must read it and if possible you must learn some lines which are wonderful. Thank you for listening and watching.